if we can go in at the higher alignment, we can usually find more movement quicker. So if we don't go in looking for what's wrong and we trust that connecting in with their divinity and looking for what's right, connecting in with their divinity and being with the space, being present with the energy session and doing the basic spaces we know to do and just being present, a lot of times it'll all happen. Okay. The healing they're looking for will come through. Another reason why I really love that approach is, and this would be more for a client than a self session, is because if they don't ask me to go look for their lower back issue and they just tell me they want a session, and then in the session, I don't know about the lower back issue because they didn't tell me. Okay. In the session, I start realizing we're healing a lower back issue and I make note of all that and I share it with them. Now they have another layer of confirmation for their healing. Does that make sense to you? Hello, Holy One. Oh, hello, hello. So I'm excited. I'm making a video and I'm actually going to go ahead and share it with everyone here on our YouTube platform. So thank you for joining in whatever way you're coming in here. Thank you. But I am going to be reading excerpts from my Acasma Connections chat space. And that's a chat space that all my patrons are on and all my students are on for all my courses. And so sometimes we get questions in there from students, reference specific spaces of courses. So I have one coming in here from beautiful Janet C. And I would love to just read the question and then I'm going to answer the question here on the video. And then we have a couple other questions that came from other people as well. So she says, wonderful AQE class today. So this is from the AQE, the Acasma Quantum Energy Foundations course that I teach. And she says, I have a question regarding the self and or client healing space. I know we can do it however we want, but if or our client or ourself has a specific healing issue or a request, do we address or focus on it in some way during the healing space? So, excellent question, Janet. Or is it more like setting the intention that it will be addressed in the healing in the manner or flow state that is meant to happen without us having to put our direct attention on the issue? Like my lower back issue, for instance, do I envision the energy going to my lower back, or do I just observe where the energy is going, as there are probably other connection points in my space holding the pain or discomfort there? More like letting the flow lead the way instead of me trying hard to control the space. Question, she says. I remember you saying your husband's knee was healed. Did you do those sessions by visualizing the energy there, or just let the flow go where it was meant to go? I don't always do the C to C's right after class, but today I did. C to C, she's talking about the actual consciousness to consciousness, C to C, energy session that I facilitate for the students after each class. So I don't always do the C to C's right after class, but today I did. I felt the healing on my lower back issue, so thank you. I know you mentioned in class something about animals in regards to doing healings for them. And in the C to C, I was standing in a nature setting and all sorts of animals were coming in and they were surrounding me in the most peaceful way. More and more of them kept showing up as my field expanded. It was glorious. She added extra O's to glorious. So I love that. Thank you, Janet. I love animals and I have a deep connection with them. And I love that I'm allowing my connections, communication, and healing with and for them expand. When I finished the C to C, I got up and glanced at my clock and it was 1:11. I love it. Thank you, Janet, for sharing all of that with us. Absolutely beautiful and fantastic questions as well. So, when we're doing Acasma, we're always focusing on what's right. We're not going in looking for what's wrong. So, I totally get why you would ask that question. And then we do have clients who will come and they will say, or you're doing a self session, and they will say, I have this specific space I really need help with. I'm really having an issue. I'm hurt, whatever it is. I have an illness, whatever it is. So, this is what I do. Acosma meets everyone right where they're at, right? So I do the same thing. And I take my client's state of being into consideration. So with my husband, when you asked how I did his knee when we were working on his meniscus healing, I met my husband right where he was at, okay? And my husband would prefer me to go directly to his knee and would prefer me to be very matter of fact with that type of alignment. Does that make sense? So, energetic session for him, I went directly to the knee, worked directly with the space, blessed all the alignment spaces accordingly that we teach in Acasma, and left it at that. Now, a client that I work with that is maybe, please allow a lot of room for the words I'm about to use, okay? Just allow a lot of space and a lot of open-mindedness, okay? A client that's more available to energy healing and really love to like embrace the space, travel the space, engage, like comes back with feedback. They're able to really meet you there in a sense, I guess that we could use those words. I'm going to go in and just look for what's right and see what they're doing with it. Okay. Someone who's not as used to energy work or doesn't understand it as well, like my husband's space, I just went right in, like kind of more, I don't know if you'd say like a chiropractor would just go and, work on the space that they were having an issue with. But that would be up to you to gauge. So either way will work, but if we can go in at the higher alignment, we can usually find more movement quicker. So if we don't go in looking for what's wrong and we trust that connecting in with their divinity and looking for what's right, connecting in with their divinity and being with the space, being present with the energy session and doing the basic spaces we know to do and just being present, a lot of times it'll all happen, okay? The healing they're looking for will come through. Another reason why I really love that approach is, and this would be more for a client than a self session, is because if they don't ask me to go look for their lower back issue and they just tell me they want a session, and then in the session, I don't know about the lower back issue because they didn't tell me, okay? In the session, I start realizing we're healing a lower back issue and I make note of all that and I share it with them. Now they have another layer of confirmation for their healing. Does that make sense to you? If it's a self session, of course, you already know what you need to heal. So that would be different. You could go directly to the space and work on the space. You already know. You know what I mean? Okay. So thank you for asking that, Janet. Those were fantastic questions. You did also share another share here. Let me make sure if there's, oh yeah, this was a good one and it's actually connected to your question. So this is very important. Anyone who has a lower back issue, you have a lower back injury, anything going on in your lower back, you need to listen to this, okay? So I just went through the question she asked and she mentioned about her lower back, right? And how she was working on healing her lower back. Now listen to her next share. I had a funny experience after watching the mindset check-in video for we just had a class called Mindset Check-in. That's on my Patreon. Okay, it's really good. If you're not on that in that space, check it out. Okay, so she says I had a funny experience after watching the Mindset Check-in video from class, and I went to turn on my water distiller and it wouldn't start. So I pressed the on button and a bunch of times and it didn't come on. And then I checked the cord into the machine, the electrical outlet, all good. I sighed. These machines are supposed to last a long time, but I said, okay, I guess it is what it is, and I will go on. line and I'll order a new one. And while I was lining up my new purchase, I was taking the loss in stride. Pay attention to the word. Taking the loss in stride, thinking that it's great that I have 4 gallons in reserve. She's redirecting. So she's choosing to not be angry and frustrated, and she's redirecting. She's finding something to be grateful for, even as the space doesn't look like she wants it to. She says that if I need some more, I can get some from the store before the new one's delivered. So she's rationalizing in the most positive way possible. The delivery was not going to be quick, so I decided to add the hefty, she uses the word hefty, Janet, look at these words, shipping charge, bringing the total close to 400. Sigh. And then I redirected to, good for you, I'm so grateful I have the money at this time to get a new machine. So she's redirecting, she's choosing to be grateful, even though underlyingly there's this dissatisfaction with the space and this money going out. Okay. I made my purchase and then I walked over to the distiller to look at it one more time. I pressed the on button, but it was still a no-go. As I was fiddling with the cord, I could now see that I plugged in the Vitamix plug by mistake. What? Okay. They are right next to each other and the cords and plugs look identical. I made the switcheroo of plugs and pressed the on button, and guess what? The distiller worked. I laughed and laughed and laughed. I canceled my order for a new machine. I sent waves and waves of gratitude that I didn't have to spend that money right now. And I laughed again. This is so powerful, Janet. Thank you for sharing it. And there's a lot available here to understand how we're creator beings and how the body works as well. So Janet's healing something in her lower back. Okay, she's already stated that, right? And this, I don't have a lot of details on this, but my understanding is it's been going on for quite some time. So then she has this opportunity, this experience presented to herself by her, in which she's going to have to fork out $400 because her machine's not working anymore. There's so much here, Janet. One, it's a water machine. Your waters hold programming. They hold your beliefs. So if you've had a belief of lack and money doesn't grow on trees and it goes out quicker than it comes in, and fear of not having enough money, somewhere in there, there's got to be something. Lower back is money. It's dealing with money. It's dealing with being fearful of not having enough money. So interestingly enough, you then created a situation in which you were going to have to fork out money, right? But you were redirecting so masterfully that you actually didn't have to fork out the money. And the water machine connected with the waters, and we're working with a chalice of life. And I just got done doing the session notes for all the students for the week 8 attuning session. And I was talking about how much the chalice was coming in and the restructuring of the waters. And here, this was your water machine that was bringing you the message that you no longer have to live in the program of lack, of fear of money, of not having enough, that you are abundant and you have that available alignment absolutely continually. Okay. I also love that there was a plug. It was a plug. So it was just that the thing you wanted to use was not connected to the power source. And you put it back in connection with the power source. Are you with me? So I really think this is an incredibly powerful message that you've designed for yourself, where you have reconnected yourself through this beautiful space that we've had together. Thank you for being it, Janet, of Acasma quantum energy, this note to self that you sent to you from the future to the now. We're just allowing those words. I understand quantums now. But of how this note to self of how you have reconnected yourself into your truth, into your I am, into that sacred realignment of yourself as sovereign. And you're plugged back in now to your power. You're plugged back in now to your power, and your waters know it. Yes. And your waters are new. Yes. And your lower back can heal. Oh, Janet, thank you for this. It's so good, so good, so good. All right, we have one more in here. This is a beautiful Taurus Prince in our Discord chat. I believe this is Brian. So let's see. He says, during my C to C, I definitely felt some head energy going on, and now I'm seeing spectrums of violet and purple. Love this. Okay. Also hearing movement like the changing of the lights from red to yellow to green. It's been rather interesting. And then my eyesight is shifting because it got where my eyes were hazy. So was rather interesting. Any idea what's going on? So here's the thing. I love this. This is so big. We did the self session space in class. Remember that, Brian? And then we had a lot of understanding of the students shifting the way in which their eyesight was working instead of the older vibration that held more judgment on themselves and the world around them. We were shifting the eyesight, the way we see ourselves and the world around us, to a new higher vibratory state of existence. So it is going to be reflected to you in your physical eyesight to some degree. When we got done with the call, I mentioned how my eyes were a little wonky, I think I said. And it's when I go to a chiropractor as well, and they do an adjustment on my body, that affects the energy being able to move in a more efficient manner, in a more flow state manner in the body. And so sometimes that will create a space where then your body has to catch up a bit. And it is catching up. It's masterfully designed to do so. So here's the other really cool part about what you shared here is you mentioned seeing violet and purple. So violet for me is like a lighter version of purple, right? So purple would be that more depth, deep, and then violet would be that more pastel-y, lighter space, right? Okay. I just did the session note video, which is in your student portal. If you're in AQE, you can go check this out with Brian Taurus Prince 13. I just did that video and I just stated how the pastel colors were coming in. Ha! So your reference here is like a confirmation of that alignment as well, to you keying into it, you being available to it. And my understanding is, and I shared it in that video that's in the portal, is this is a brand new palette for which you are available to paint with. Yes, you're the painter of your masterpiece, your life. You're the designer, the aligner of it all. Yes. So the pastel colors were coming in the session space. Yes. To, yes, be a signpost, a notification of a new palette is available. You have new colors to paint with. So I love that you had that connection as well to the violet and then also to the purple. Now, you hearing the movement, like the changing of the lights from red to yellow to green. Oh my, hello. Red, stop. Yes. Yellow, caution. Green, go. So, I feel it's really connected to you moving forward, right? It's time to allow, you're allowing, and embrace and engage and implement from that space of knowing that you're moving forward. You have been maybe at a traffic light for some time and you've been waiting for it to turn green. And now you've sent the note to yourself that it has done so, and to allow, to trust and be that space of you. And then it gets to land and it gets to show up and it gets to be your reality. Okay. Another thing I see here too is Janet mentioned the mindset check-in space. That's on my Patreon platform. And in the mindset check-in space, we keep getting the 1, 2, 3, 4 coming into class because we start class at 12 and then we end up ending at like 12:30. And usually by the time I say my goodbyes and end the course and cut the video, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we say ready, set, go. And our beautiful friends internationally from Europe, they say ready, steady, go. Okay. They've shared that with me, the students that come in from Europe. So here's the fun thing, Brian. Okay. You have that you are hearing the lights, the movement, like the changing of lights from red to yellow to green. Ready, set, go. Trust yourself, Holy One. It's your design. I'm a bridge. You're the activation point through your implementation. and just know that the body knows exactly what to do. Now, of course, I have to always say, as a disclaimer, because of the world we live in and the way the structure is set up, if anyone ever experiences anything in their body that they're not quite sure of, how they feel about that, and you need to see a doctor, I'll absolutely see a doctor, if you need to do so. But energetically speaking, I think everyone is moving their energies quite masterfully and beautifully. And doctors many times can be a fantastic acknowledgement of that, because that's when we have miracles medically documented. And we have had probably thousands by now of documented miracles in this work with Acasma quantum energy. So thank you so very much for these questions, for your shares, for writing them into the chat so others could make the connection with the space as well, and could allow. And I'm going to jump over here real quick. I do have an email that I wanted to look at really quickly here and share an answer as well. So this email came in from a student. I have two questions. In the last weeks, I feel a change in my spine, around my spine near my lumbar vertebrae. I don't know if it is the right word. They're from another country, and so their English isn't first language. So they're just letting me know that. But every time I hear a video from you, or I listen to an audio link from you, doing a session, or even doing some meditation from another person, it gets warm and begins to vibrate. Sometimes it gets very hot and begins to get bigger and to raise, but it only happens when I lay down and not when I sit and meditate. Can you tell me what it is? Okay, now I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if this is something beyond, the energetic field of what we're experiencing here. So I have to say that again, right? But in my understanding, in connection with this question and these words, I would say it's you, your divine flow expanding in the root center so that it can go up. You can go up from your root, anchored in your being, your I am. Yes, your sacred divine flow, anchored into your root. Yes. And then going up your spine, all the way up to your crown, and then allowing that you down through the torso, legs, down throughout the feet, through a cosmic quantum energy work we're doing here. This is you landing you. This is you reconnecting in with you. If thine eye be light, thy whole body shall be light. That's a quote from Christ, Jesus. But your third eye expanding, and your I am coming in, base of the torso. A lot of people might even say this is a Kundalini thing. I don't know. I don't teach Kundalini, and I have not studied it. And I'm here to teach Acasma quantum energy and to represent and present from that space of understanding. And from that space of understanding, your body knows exactly what to do. You're masterfully designed to be this space, and to allow yourself to trust yourself, to breathe deep and slow, come from love, be happy about it, excited about it, and grateful for it. And it can move in the alignments of that gentle, profound, masterful flow of you. Okay? All right. So it's you coming into you. And laying down is, you say it only comes in when I lay down and not when I sit and meditate. So I love that, because I actually tell students all the time, and clients that come in for energy work with me, I say, please, if it's all possible, lay down. Yes. Because when you lay down, your entire body gets to let go and it gets to drop. That's the word I use. And that allows the flow of your consciousness that's coming in energetically through your heart center to your body, your being, and your field, It allows that movement in a much more efficient manner and at a level that is truly the way you designed you to be. Okay, so that's with the lay down thing. Second question, when I do an Acasma session for another person, do I also have to give them music, or if so, what kind of music? So it is really good to give music, because it helps them go into that space. And also, if you don't have your own music created, I ask you to please just use my music. It's created and shared on a YouTube link that's completely shareable. It's easy to share, and that is able to accommodate everyone. There's additional questions here as well from another email. Okay, so they say, thank you so much for the answer to my last question. And the self session today in class was really amazing. I felt everything you described in the session a little bit before I heard your words. It was very intense and powerful. Thank you. Thank you, Holy One. Thank you. And I love that you were feeling it before I even spoke it. That's a beautiful common space that students will share that allows everybody to acknowledge it's landing. This space of connection and attunement and activation is landing. And if someone's not having that happen yet, just be open, just be open, just be open, just allow, right? Okay, after a few minutes, I got some pressure behind my ears, at my nostrils, and around my head. The pressure changed the intensity all the time and moved around. I guess it happened because my frequency and energy was rising. I know this pressure very well, but it didn't feel it nearly the last year. So this is something that's happened to them before, but it came back in this space, and they haven't had it in about a year. In the past, it often got so intense that I had to quit the meditation or energy work. That's very interesting. And also know I feel this pressure, and it feels like something doesn't want me to go deeper or get more connected with my true self and my power. Oh my goodness, what message are you bringing yourself here, Holy One? Every time I ask my guidance what to do, I do not get an answer. What can I do? It stops me from doing this work because it really hurts if I don't stop. Okay, one, if you need to see a doctor, see a doctor. I am not a doctor. I am not a medical care physician person. I have no idea what could be going on here on that manner. But energetically speaking, reference the class, reference the teachings. One, you've had this happen to you before you even met me. So this has nothing to do with the cosmic quantum energy. This has nothing to do with me or the space. This is you. This is your package. This is something you've designed. Now, what I sense immediately is fear. And in order for anyone to move into the next space of themselves, we have to heal fear. And we all have different fears. And they're connected to all different types of beliefs and experiences and all of that. But fear must be addressed in order for the person to move energetically, consciously into the next space of them, because fear has a vibrational alignment. And so there's fear here because pain is connected with fear. Pain is also connected with, many times, not all the time, but many times, pain can be connected with judgment on the self. Now, like you feel like, not that you feel this, but people that suffer from pain feel they need to be punished for something. I'm not saying that this is you. I'm just saying in general, this is a teaching video. So this is a pressure you're feeling on your head. And you also feel like it's connected to something not wanting you to go deeper and more connected with your true self and power. Huh. So that's really interesting, isn't it? You know. Now, I had spaces, I've shared stories before. I'll give a very brief space of it here because this video has gone long. But I've had experiences with pain. And I've shared the being next to my bed, put a hand on my chest, and I was like in an out of body kind of state of lucidity in a sense. Yeah. And there was a being next to my bed that put a hand on my chest and started to press down on my chest, and it hurt. And a part of me was really scared that if I didn't stop the being and run, like pull away from the being and allow my fear, right? If I didn't do that, they were going to kill me or hurt me or some way, right? I mean, it was really real to me. And I'm not saying that this is exactly the same thing as you, but there's some similarities here. There's some common ground here. So I have had spaces like that before, just like you had this space before, where I gave in to the fear and I fed the fear and I ran away. But I was at a point, and this was back before I started doing this work, I was at a point where I was done. And I was like, I am not doing this anymore. And as I'm saying this, I'm feeling some of that tightness in your head. I'm feeling that coming in, especially over the right eye, right side of the head. Just take a deep breath and just listen if you feel to, if you can. I was not going to run away from that anymore. I was so done. I was not going to be afraid anymore. I was going to be sovereign. I was going to allow my divine sacred flow, even at all costs. And I pushed through my fear and actually reached out to the hand. Yes. And put my hand on the hand and then lifted my head to kiss the hand in a gesture of, I choose to show you love instead of acknowledging the fear. So maybe you could allow, and if you don't want to do it on your own, you could wait till week 9 when we do the attuning session for that week. And you could have that be an intention you hold in that session for yourself. In addition to receiving the activations and the attunements, you could hold an intention to engage a love with this space. Even if you're not feeling it at the time, you can hold the intention of, I know that there is that pressure. I know that there is that intensity of pressure behind my ears, at my nostrils, around my head. And I know there's something connected with this pressure trying to keep me in a state of fear so that I won't embrace my power. And I, at this moment, drop my struggle. I release having to force this to be anything. And I just choose love. I send love to this pressure. I'm not afraid of my power. I'm not afraid of my sovereignty. And I'm not afraid of whatever's happening as my sovereignty is rising, because I know that I'm masterfully designed to be this space. I know that my body is masterfully designed to be this space. You could hold that alignment. You could allow that intention. And you could trust yourself as much as you possibly can. And that might be that everything shifts and changes. And it might be that that's the first increment of shift and change. And that you return to that intention and you return to that space of choice, of love instead of fear. And that you trust that you're safe, and you trust that you're sovereign, and you trust that it's all masterfully designed. Yes. So you did state that it really hurts. So you need to make this choice yourself. And maybe it's that you're gauging how fast you move. And maybe it's just a gauge so that the increments can land, because you might be like thinking that it should happen faster, that the healing should appear quicker, or the release of the pressure should land quicker. Yet there's all these other things happening in your body and your being right now that you need to land, you need to own, you need to allow. And they're the increments that need to be in place before the pressure dissipates and the sovereign self rises. So there's no rush. You do not have to intend to confront one-on-one, That's an option. You can also intend to continue to just allow. And when it gets too much, when the pressure's too big, back off like you've been doing. And know that the increments that are happening inside your being at other spaces need room, need time. And the pressure is just you telling you to allow. Listen, back off as needed. It doesn't have to be that it stops you from connecting with your true power. It can be that it's just you gauging you and how fast you get there. That's possible as well. We have one more share that I'd really love to add in here. This was a beautiful share that came in via email, and I'd like to close with this. Hello, Andrea. I hope this finds you having a wonderful day. I'm newly joined member of your Star Ones tier on your Patreon platform, and I wanted to take a minute to introduce myself and let you know how very grateful I am that you lend your time and service to all souls like myself. I found my way to a Acasma Connections space via the Celestial Connections course. I just had to write you and share how much in this very short time you have really aided in my growth, understanding, and probably my sanity. Haha. While looking up some information on quantum energy, I found you, specifically the Celestial Connections course, and I signed up immediately. Before even watching the Beyond the Ordinary segment you were on, I just felt so called. It was one of those clear knowings that didn't even provide or require a moment for me to, quote, think. And I'm just beyond happy to have landed in this amazing space. Truly, I'm deeply grateful to have found this space of warmth and wonderment. Thank you for the warm and welcoming way you and the whole community provide as I begin truly answering the call to walk in divine purpose on my soul's path of remembrance, creation, and service. Discovering you, seemingly by chance, and this amazing group you have cultivated has provided me with such confirmation and comfort. It has replaced any residual feelings of confusion or trepidation about all that I'm experiencing and feeling, instead enabling me with a profound sense of peace, knowing I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. The first Celestial Connections course resonated with me immediately, an aha moment. The resonance, even through a computer screen, was palpable and comfortable and allowed me the peace needed to settle within myself. I'd been struggling with letting my heart lead all the unknowns without my pesky mind and logic butting in. The class discussion, knowing I was not alone, allowed me to settle into peace and follow my intuition, trust in myself and in all the unknowns. It helped confirm that I just need to continue to take it one step at a time, have faith that all I need to do is be present in this now moment, lead from love, allow my heart to overrule my brain, and to move forward with strength and gratitude. How profoundly empowering that is. For as long as I can remember, a powerful energy has stirred within me, wild and luminous. Yet I've kept it close, nurturing it quietly, almost secretly. It felt sacred, something to protect until the right moment. Now, that moment has arrived. The call within me is undeniable, resonating through every part of my being, aligning me with Source and awakening a purposeful, sovereign self. This journey of remembrance is both beautiful and at times bewildering. Yet already within this group, Cosma Quantum Energy Group, Cosma Family of Light, I find solace, guidance, and the freedom to simply be. Thank you for holding this space, for the learning lessons, the growth, and the shared presence. Words don't seem enough, but thank you, thank you, thank you. With love, light, and immense appreciation, Rebecca. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Incredibly beautiful share. So thank you to all who have asked questions, who have shared feedback, who are choosing to listen with their hearts, trust themselves, to lean in and to allow. This is what it's all about. So however you're connecting in whatever way you're finding this space of our beautiful Acasma family of light, our free community online, the chat spaces we offer with leadership and guidance and encouragement and inspiration, the Patreon platform with teaching classes and mindset check-ins and energetic blessings and session spaces, audios, courses, classes, it doesn't matter. However you're finding this space and allowing you, thank you. Thank you. We have a saying in our family of Acasma. We are light and we are here. Thank you for remembering who you are. It's an honor to walk with each and every one of you. Blessings upon you, Holy One. Blessings.